And still with us is Mr. Ronald Llamas, the chairman of Galahad Consulting Agency and former advisor of the late President Noynoy Aquino. Now, in several interviews we've had in our programs, both analysts and data scientists are saying that Filipinos are now having the so-called Aquino fatigue or the opposition fatigue. And thus, the opinion poll results and the huge gap between the top two contenders. Do you think this is a vital factor and an explanation in terms of voters' preferences? Sir.
Well, I'm not sure if it is a fatigue. No, it's. I think it's a more effective political strategy from the incumbent government. No, inulit tulad nga kanina, na-convict si Imelda ng 7 counts of plunder at na-convict for 42 years. Hindi siya nag-spend ng 1 day in prison, pero si Laila de Lima, na lahat ng mga witnesses ay nag-rescind ng kanilang testimony, hanggang ngayon nakakulong pa rin. So, mas successful yung demonization ng mga opposition icons like Laila rather than the administration icons like Imelda. So, it's more yung role nung Duterte government this past 6 years. Medyo successful yung kanilang strategy against the opposition or against the yellow, no? At hindi ko sigurado if it is a fatigue, no?
So would you say that itong Duterte administration has been the linchpin for the Marcoses' comeback? Quote,
of course.
unquote, yeah.
Of course, no? Sila yung pinakamalaking enabler ng mga Marcoses. At hindi nila dinay-deny yun. Diba? Medyo nagkaroon lang ng konting glitch nung hindi tumakbo si Sara as president. At hindi naging vice president si Bongo, medyo nagtampo si President Duterte. Kaya medyo binanatan niya for a while si BBM nung last December, no? Medyo matitindi yung banat niya, no?
Yeah.
From substance use to character, etc., no? Pero ngayon, a few days ago, parang binawi na niya. Sabi niya ay wala namang ebidensya ng ill-gotten wealth, no? Medyo kailangan i-check yata nila yung PCGG dahil almost $4 billion yung na-recover.
Correct.
Unless galing kay Joby yun. Yung
Wala ako nun. Pero,
Hindi yata.
para hindi ka mag-isa sa pag-aanalisa nitong ating mga issues. Ano po. Also with us is Professor Ranjit of the OCTA Research Group. Ito nasa tabi ko. Ayan, kita ka. Hello, Professor Ranjit.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I just finished voting. Ano ba yan? Nakikita ba ito? Yan,
Yes, kita.
just about 10-15 minutes ago at the University of the Philippines, where I live. And it was uneventful and but very vibrant. No, everybody was in still a positive mood at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Before you jumped in, Professor Ranjit, before you jumped in, we were just discussing with Mr. Llamas nga, no, na parang the Duterte administration seems to have played a big part in the comeback of the Marcoses into power or potentially into like the top office of the land. What are your thoughts on this?
Hi, Mr. Llamas there, Ronald. Hi,
Yes.
good afternoon.
Hi, Prof.
Yeah, I agree. You cannot, in a sense, may I use the word restore? No, you cannot talk about the restoration of the Marcoses without talking about the important role played by the Duterte administration, the president himself. And even the Marcoses recognize that, no? In a couple of interviews recently from the Senator Marcos, Amy Marcos herself. No? I mean, a big reason why VP Leni struggled in the initial stages of her campaign was really because of the 6 years of what's a good term, Ronald, no? Delegitimizing, no? Or demonizing, or that she had to deal with. And it wasn't just her as a person, it was also the movement she represented, the party that she represented. And so you cannot complete a picture analysis of the ascent of the Marcoses without looking at the important role played by this administration in creating the conditions for that restoration to happen.
We also, Ranjit, Professor Ranjit, we also mentioned in our intro spiel before this topic, the so-called Aquino fatigue. Do you believe that there is such a thing that is also contributory to what is happening now, that the Marcoses is, there's an imminent return to power of supposedly by the Marcoses?
Well, I think there's some, I don't think there's a fatigue, no? You have to understand, there was a impression in many, and you can see this in our surveys also when we dig deeper, and also in the FGDs that we were fortunate to be part of, that there was an impression that this was a proxy for the Liberals versus the administration last year, no? And that was the perspective. But this has become much bigger than that. Whatever the results today, Leni Robredo has helped build a movement, and that movement will persist even after May 9. So this doesn't mean the end for that movement. It may actually be the beginning of a larger movement that will focus on broadening and deepening democracy beyond, focusing now on helping VP Leni win. I think to a great extent, there was a repudiation of a brand of politics, a particular group of politicians, a network of politicians we call, let's say, the Liberal Party, no? And that repudiation happened when this administration came to power in 2016. Its complete repudiation was seen in the 2019 midterm elections, and what they did there spilled over in this particular campaign. So it was very hard for VP Leni to move forward with her original brand. That's why she had to rebrand, no? But I think people have seen through all of that and are seeing that, apart from what has happened, a movement has sprung, no? And emerged. And I think that we're very hopeful, no? That all of these developments are good for, broadening and deepening democracy. Civic engagement is quite high, no? We don't know if this will be enough to change the outcome of the elections. We will see later on when we finally count the votes. But it shows that the discourse has gone beyond the Liberal Party and its enmity with the proxy war between the Marcoses and the Aquinos, the Liberal Party, and the Duterte administration. No?